My question is on customs assessment. Will this be applicable to 100% EOUs and SEZ?
Customs, sorry?
A self-assessment scheme.
There is no restriction.
For SEZ also it will be applicable.
In course of time, everybody will be there. There is no, we have not put any. This is what has happened. This is an announcement made in the budget and simultaneous amendment of the Customs Act, enabling the people to do the assessment. We have not restricted anything, and in course, all those things will come through the circular, and stage by stage it will be done. The first requirement is that it has to be EDI connected totally. Naturally, the self-assessment cannot be done manually. It has to be done through the EDI connected. So, all those things will be clarified.
Secondly, sir, in fact, the trend has started from the last budget that ministry are now going for retrospective amendments which are benefiting trade. Earlier, retrospective amendments which were benefiting department or ministry were being incorporated in the finance bill. Now we are having which are beneficial trade. One of that is under Rule 3 of the Senate Credit Rules, where Section 66A has been incorporated. Now,
is your question on import of services?
My question is on import of services.
Primarily related to, and you, let me just understand it slightly more. Is the query is that prior to 18/4/2006, if any tax has been paid under reverse charge basis, can the credit be claimed? Okay. See, why we brought this specific date from 18/4/2006 or 66A, as you are also aware, there are a lot of litigation on this issue, which went right up to the Supreme Court in the INSA case, and a final decision, if you remember the board circular which also came, which finally that we have accepted one part of the judgment, the other part still on sub judice. So bringing it before that would have been slightly difficult at this stage. So retrospective exemption will, a benefit which has been given will have the effective date from the date when 66A actually came into existence. It cannot be extended beyond that at this period.
No, but what are the taxes paid under reverse charge mechanism?
See, 66A talks about payment on reverse charge when services received outside. See, reverse charge is on multifarious types. 21D4 was when we are getting, we have reverse charges other than foreign services also. We have domestic reverse charges on insurance. We have domestic reverse charge on GTA, very popular, highly litigated. So those are not in the scope of this. It's only 66A. 66A, it says charge of service tax on services received from outside India. Reverse charge, a chunk of reverse charge, which was for the services received from abroad, which was subject matter of litigation. This retrospective amendment is nothing to do with the litigation except for the cut-off date. The problem... Yeah, I am coming to that. The problem...
2006, why not prior to that?
Prior to means which?
Maybe 1/1/2002.
Yeah, I am coming to that. See, 1/1 to...
69/2002.
Yeah.
When you got this 2D, which is almost identical to 66A.
Yeah, 2/1D4. See, the original... I understood. See,
Effective from that day.
See, 2/1D4 was the first intention expression by the government to tax when the service providers comes and provides and goes. We had problems. We have been serving notice to Japan and all now. So we had problems. We could never reach even the show cause notice. So we have brought in this 2/1D4 was brought in to bring taxation on the Indian recipient. There this trouble started. Historic territorial taxation, legal competence of the parliament, all these were questioned. No doubt some were paying. The problem became accentuated because of audit and as well as litigation. Law was brought in. Of course, before law also you know the history. We have brought in explanation, we have brought in notification. The notification is the cutoff for 1/1/2005 where Hindustan Zinc and Aditya Cement judgments were there. Now, as Rupam correctly said that the penalty as far as the board is concerned, as far as the department is that 18/4 at least accepted. Before 18/4, On the services, we have a slight hitch only on that. On the services received, not in India. I mean, in India we have that one and a half year period dispute, which is the 30th June 2010 circular. Because of Unitech pending adjudication in Delhi High Court, a stand could not be taken on that. 18/4/2006, afterwards, the reverse charge is completely settled. So, that matter is being sorted out. The reason behind this retrospective amendment is explained in TIOL letter also. We have been receiving quite a lot of audit objections from Accountant General's office, not our audit. The audit is very clear and very crisp to the only point that charging section is 2, 66 and 66A. The credit is available, you have mentioned in rule 3 only 66, 66A is not mentioned. So, you should collect the tax. This credit is not available for the taxes paid by the recipient, even though it may be an input services for other output services. In 2008 itself, the board have very clearly clarified the charging section continued to be section 66 only, not 66A. 66A is the enabling section. But then I will tell you, to be frank, in a few notifications, we have used both 66 and 66A to means as a charging section. We were slightly caught in that, and I can read out the heading of 66A itself. Charge of service tax on services received from outside. So there is a slight frequent situation. So we went in for, the audit is not relenting, I will tell you. I have faced, in fact, I have at least about 100 show cause notices involving maybe 800 people. So this has to be brought to a finality. A lot of people are getting notice, and a notice issued by a person who is not convinced about the notice. But then the advocate who is going to advise the party is naturally very convinced and is very happy. So I have notices running into 60 crore. Even yesterday a notice has come after the budget was brought in. Because the time bar is coming April 24th. I have to issue notice, and I am bound by the board's instruction that whenever an accountant general audit is there, you have to protect the revenue. He has faced the problem, and we are waiting very eagerly for the passage of the act so that this litigation will stop. Presently, from 18/4/2006, you can take credit. Rightly. You have been taking credit, but rightly. Now there will not be any notices at least to come. Prior to that, apparently, it can't be brought in under a retrospective thing. We still have the 2008 clarification of the board, which we can support for cost.
Yes, Ms. Gupta.
Power generation equipment for captive use in factory, even though such equipment may be situated outside the factory, that's a good step, of course. But no corresponding provision has been made for input services associated with installation, commissioning, or operation and maintenance of equipment installed outside the factory for such equipment.
Representations were coming only on the capital goods. I think we didn't see any representation on that.
Sir,
we thought that
as per law, input services are not required to be received in the factory. But as per several tribunal judgments so far,
the law, what is to be done and not, rest assured, once the things are firmed up, we will put it in the website. And as Mr. Vijay Kumar said, we put in even the point of taxation rules. We had put up, but hardly any response comes. Now, as he rightly pointed out, the response comes only the danger, if you so call it, is right at your door. Then only you react. But we are putting in the draft stage, hardly any response comes. Please be more proactive. You will get all those things in the final draft rules, and then you give your suggestion what is to be done.
No, sir, I am making a separate point. I am saying the time.
Any finished good company, how to find that a lawyer takes huge fees in individuals, and you are telling that individual to individual do not take any tax. And if you are taking any huge fees in company's matter, then you are taking tax. But I am not taking any huge fees in a company. But you are including me in a tax matter. And if we are taking huge fees in an individual person, you don't take any tax.
There is no huge.
Huge means you run 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, just like Honorable Mr. Ramji.
No, you see, I think these things will be sorted out now. The GST comes with the credit change and everything. But it will be difficult to make. If you see our budget approach, we are trying to distinguish. We have been trying to remove all those. If I may use the word, clean up the things. So there's not too many conditions, too many conditions, too many divisions. It tries to different interpretation, different scopes of the, we don't want this thing. So that was the behind our, we can't make a distinction on that basis. That can be done by my friend here in the CBDT, that beyond certain limit your tax is free and all those. But not individual transactions we can do it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyway, all the best. Let's see you as Ram Jethmalani for the next seminar.
I just add one of the points here, Chairman, why individual advocate to individual client should not be taxed, whereas they are making much more money than corporate advocate, is the very basis of back petition pending in Bombay High Court. So more comments on that is given to the court only.
Subjudice.
Subjudice, but it is our view is very clear. There is no subjudice. We have to collect tax. There is no. But the same point was taken. But it is to challenge that indiscriminatory classification was made between the professionals. That it is violating the Article 14 or equality. But that is being answered. But that the court itself, who are lawyers only, the honorable judges are all lawyers only. They have said that a back petition has been filed. You have to get notice to all the people. On technicality, it's delayed. Now it is going on. Regarding the second point, you said that individuals are making more money and that corporates are. See, there is another important reason when you go for taxing corporate clients and not living. Even in service tax, so many services evolve. We have deleted individuals to commercial concern, changed it so many places and made it commercial concern to individuals. The main consideration is a credit flow system. An individual advocate cannot have an account of send-back credit and all these things. You can very well tax if you want that. It can be made universal also, like chartered accountants thing. But in a corporate advocate system, they have a branch to look after their telephone bill, to get that all their other input services, catering, seminar, attending, travel, all these things. So they are in a better position. Capacity to pay tax, as Chairman was telling, is one of the important redeeming. So these two are there. And in subsidies, as Mr. Jayawar says, we will wait.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to just clear the confusion. 9 of 2011 in Service Tax. This is basically the notification which exempts transport of goods by air freight that you pay on import. And the notification very rightly says that if the freight is included in the value chargeable to customs duty, then no service tax is payable. Sir, the question is that two issues have arisen because of this, and these are only probably interpretation issues. One is that the entire SEC, EOU bunch of people who do not actually pay customs duty, but of course the value will get included in customs, but the physical customs duty is not paid. And therefore, if the intent of the notification is that if you pay customs, you don't pay service tax, the fact is that EOUs, SECs don't pay customs. It only gets debited to bond, and it is creating confusion. That is one, sir. And the the speed of delivery that you want. And therefore, if you go under the deep freight option in customs where you are paying freight at 20% of the value, you might actually have freight which is higher than that. So you need to pay service tax on the balance. So these are the two questions that have come up in this notification.
I think the first misplaced, because what the words, if you go to the notifications, categorically states that the value which is included in for the purpose of customs. That's all. It doesn't say you should have paid customs duty on that. Right. So I don't think it is a very valid if we have not paid the duty.
But we have decided wherever these doubts have been raised, after the bill is passed into act, a consolidated clarification will issue.
Great. Thank you.
On excise, aluminum circuits, which is a raw material for manufacture of aluminum utensils, it is covered in the compounded levy scheme, and everybody has to pay 12,500 rupees per machine, which comes to about 1.5 lakhs a year. Even with a turnover of about 20-30 lakhs, small scale unit is made to pay about 1.5 lakhs of excise duty, as against exemption available up to 1.5 crores for any other similarly placed industry. No survival benefit is also extended. My request is that aluminum circles also should be included in the list of items eligible for small scale exemption notification.
This was we have this, but then when we want to bring it into the net, then some individual sectors individually find every day my duck bed is this thick, and all individual representations. But anyway, I am not discouraging anybody, we are examining it. Thank you.
Sir, the rate of invoice, etc. But I don't find any change in the credit rules. They continue to be on the receipt basis. Are we saying that in the GST also the same state of affairs will be there?
See, there was, this issue was discussed. No, certainly I don't know how it would be in GST, but even for the current scenario, it was always supposed to be a temporary measure. The idea was basically that not doing away with the 4.7, the rule 4.7. There are two, three issues which went into our mind when this was being discussed. One of the major considerations, of course, was that there was expectation that point of taxation will have a lot of representations, and the payment invoice versus the payment issue, it does not place the current service receivers at any disadvantageous position vis-a-vis what was happening yesterday. Today also, the credit is being taken only when the payment is made. That's part one. Part two, it also puts in the excise side, you can only take credits when the goods have been received within the factory premises. We needed a corresponding side for the services. And services, we thought the tangible aspect would be the payment for the services which have been received. And lastly, there was, of course, we thought we will consult our colleagues as well, that how much, if we just say that invoice is the only criteria for taking off SENVAT, would it possibly, how much, would revenue be compromised to a certain stage? This was one of some of the considerations. But no, I think categorically respond yes. The considerable discussion had gone with in board on this particular issue, and final call on this still needs to be taken. As
we are aware of this. We will get something to see what happens.
If I can ask a question. I just want to know that trading has been defined as an exempt service. What is your perception about trading which prompts you to suggest that it could amount to service? And though it's not taxed yet, probably the intention comes out. Or is it not? Or is it just matter of
So may I am Anup Paraja from IFCO. This one, some explanations have been inserted in the SENVAT credit code regarding this exempted services improves trading. And there is one rule 60 also that improves trading, and the explanation is inserted in rule 60 also. That is regarding that how much the difference between the sale price and purchase price should be fixed like that.
So you can answer this question also. I have another one question.
They get confused.
No, sir, it's a supplementary question on the same.
Second supplementary.
It's a supplementary question on the same. Is a trading activity. Now, trading is what? Trading of input, trading of capital good. What is the trading from the notification?
So now these questions are
what's trading in, I think the words defined in that is trading in goods. I think it's very clear in the notification per se. It's used over there. Because a question elsewhere came whether trading in land would also be covered in this.
The trading in goods is not there. It's trading. Solely trading. Explanations. The explanation is only trading. The valuation, they said purchase. That is to determine the value under that complicated formula.
Yeah.
They said sale of goods, yes, purchase of goods.
Yeah, it's there because we distinctly remember that. Although we did have a discussion that in certain cases trading of land may actually
in the definition of exempted service,
treated as goods. In the definition it's also, but otherwise it's there. Yeah. The second part of it, which you were I got lost. What was your question?
This explanation which has been inserted.
Retrospective, whether it's retrospective or not. It's normally clarified.
That is why.
It's because we have hundreds of notices going on there. See, the origin is, even though now manufacturing sector are also raising question, now they are involved in trading. The whole origin comes for, see, I believe repeatedly the problem is faced for the management and what we say, maintenance, repair services, registered people. Classic example of showrooms of FMC, consumer goods, showrooms. You have a reputed showroom like a Chroma or Vijay Sales and all. You have they do register for service tax because they are undertaking warranty period service as well as post-sale maintenance service. They have registered, they have to pay tax. And in their overall context, you see, you will have a showroom, you will have a small bathroom or basement or somewhere where your TV or telephone or your whatever you purchase from that, it gets damaged or getting warranty repair or whatever is there. They are service tax paid. See their overall input receipts in the showroom, telephones to security to renting to all these things. Now the question has been this is being agitated at the showcase places. So many are pending now, saying that you are involved in an activity which is, see, as you know, the exempted service we are handicapped in borrowing the exact definition of exempted goods. We have tried to juxtapose the exempted goods definition to exempted services definition with a handicap of not having an exhaustive tariff. In exempted goods, there is no confusion at all even now. Exempted goods are very clearly defined. Exempted goods are goods which are exempted for time being enforced or exempted goods which are chargeable to millionaire. We have no exhaustive tariff in service tax. We are evolving. Naturally, when we juxtapose that definition to the exempted services, we face problem. We left it open. Include services which are not subjected to any tax under section 66 of the Finance Act. Without telling what is service, we are not a defined service. We are not going to also. Services are not defined. And then section 66, what are not services we chose not to tax, we have not told. Like we have, this year we have added two services. Each year we are adding at least 8-10 services added. So, this is the complication brought in. Easy providing any exempted service is the question. Even now it is slightly more clarity has come in the exempted services. So these display companies and this is started with that only. Most of our showcase notices started with the companies who are overwhelmingly trading companies, basically buyers and sellers of commodities goods, and they have management, maintenance, repair services, other services they are doing. So they are not paying at all tax. It is actually a sort of non-existent thing now. They did not pay any tax. Their input credit services are so huge. Even if they take the proportion, what proportion to take? Now, to address that problem, it has come. Naturally, it resulted to incidental complications of manufacturing units who are involved in trading. Other genuine service providers in a large-scale service providers, see, the display companies, these consumer goods sale companies are not big service providers. Whereas the other companies who are providing service, who are incidentally involved in trading, naturally they feel impinged upon on this definition. But trading per se is, for the purpose of definition, is brought in only in the context of overwhelming credit being flowing on that without any control. That is the reason.
But retrospective or prospective?
There is no retrospective, it is only clarificative. Because we have considered trading as a service earlier. It will be a trading as a service because if you see the earlier definition of sections here, that exempted goods definition, we didn't define service, we didn't define on which we have not imposed tax on section 66. We have only said, look, service trading is also not taxable service.
Anyway, thank you, sir.
I'll just, Mr. say that he would like to have informed decision after having a public debate on the issue, whether we should have a codified tariff covering all the services and exempting certain things, or we'll have a negative list of services saying that all services to be taxed except a negative list, and that negative list will be determined. Now, that is an inherent, we have not yet found out, but let me tell you about the definition of services. In that international body that the United Nations come to secretaries, they have defined supply of services. And if I tell you the definition, quite a few of you will be quite horrified, shocked. The definition of supply of service is any business transaction which is not supply of goods is supply of service.